Oops. I don't know what that is. I'll skip the advert because I'm not interested in whatever that was. Good evening, everybody on the tube. I can see we are live there already. So, hello. Is that Rob? Have you got a different account? So, hi, Rob, Jane, Margaret, Petra, Angie, Margaret. Oh, what's happened here? Oh, that's it. Where did I get to? Carol, Paula, Carol, Irene, Brenda, Anne, Marie. Evening. So let's just see if this has worked by any small miracle on Facebook. I'm trying something different. I know, of course, it didn't work. So let's go back to the normal page and try it that way. Facebook, what are you doing to me? So subtitles off. So good evening to everybody on Facebook. I can't see your comments on the screen, but I can see them on my app. So let's just see where we're all at. So hi to Andreen, Jackie, Elvina. Oh, it's coming to Quake Mill, Jill, Dorinda, Leslie, Caroli, Lorraine. Hi, Lorraine. When are you back down this way? Edith, Karen, Jackie, Margaret. So I can see what you're saying to me. It's just coming thick and fast. Hi, Lee, Amanda. So it's still not right on the normal Facebook, which is super frustrating. Right, let's take this screen off. Well, I can tell you now before we even start, I've had one of those days where it started off badly and ended in my machine being broken. So, you know, when everything just goes Pete Tong, well, that's exactly what's happened to me today. Nothing has gone right. Not a thing. So I'm ready to sit down and do a little bit of crafting and to try and cheer myself up and take my mind off all the stress of today, because it's been a bit of a one is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's been a bit of a one today instead of what's actually in my brain. Cold but beautiful day there. It's absolutely glorious here. The sun's shining. It's lovely and warm, although I must admit I have had the heating on. YouTube changed your name. YouTube changed it to your username a while back. Well, that's just cheeky of them. But I knew who it was because she said hello. Anyway, so the plans that I had for tonight, I was going to have my Big Shot Plus on here so I could show you all the different embossing folder techniques. But that's gone a bit Pete Tongs because my machine's broken, which I can't quite believe it. And I was only cutting dies. I was rolling the machine through, cutting dies, and I heard it go clunk. And I thought, well, that doesn't sound right. And then obviously the plates were just swishing all the way through, so there was no the two rollers in the machine. The top one has fallen down, which is a bit strange. So yes, and it's my favourite machine, which is a bit of a nightmare. So I've ordered myself a new one. I will take the broken one to Peter from Sizzix at Hobby Maker just to see if they can fix it for me, and then I'll have a spare. But it did mean, challenging, Carol, is probably a nice way of putting it. There's been a lot of swear words in my craft room today, a lot. So anyway, so I can still show you the embossing because I'm going to do it on my card, and I've done one part of it, but I've not done the other part. And I can do it in the Gemini, but there's not enough room for me to put the Gemini on here for you to be able to see it, which is an absolute pain in the neck. And as soon as I started using the Gemini again, I thought, yeah, this is why I stopped using it, because I hate having to push the plates in. It does my head in. Anyway, I'm not going to go on. I haven't only got one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 machines, but only one of them was manual. So in fact, I'm lying to you. I've actually got 8 machines if I include the Cricut and I include the Silhouette. I've got 9 because I've got the Brother Scan and Cut as well, which is just sitting collecting dust. So I've got 9 machines, and of those 9 machines, only one of them is a manual, which will teach me a lesson because I prefer the manual. So anyway, it is what it is. It's just been a bit of a one. Hi Jean, I know Chris is at the doctor's. I hope she gets on all right. Hi Karen, Deirdre, Sue, Jackie. Blew up, or that must have been an electric one, Jackie. Mine's a manual one. Manual Big Shop broke. Also, it's not unheard of then. Emma says hers went with a bang, and you ended up with a bad wrist. Oh, ouch. The day is definitely getting better because I'm sat offloading all my crap from today to you all before I make a pretty card to cheer myself up. So good evening to everybody who's just jumping in. I've just found this in my trolley, which I was getting all my tools out from when I was on TV. So this was one of the demos I did with the chalk paints last week on TV, and I must have liked this one because I've kept it. So I just wanted to show you this before I move on, because this was the chalky acrylic paints, obviously from the show, and this was the French beige and the clear sky, which I thought was a really lovely combo. You can tell it's a TV demo because there's no glitter on it, but I've kept this one for myself, so I will add glitter on at some point. But I thought how lovely these colours were together, and that's quite simple. Nothing like what I'm going to do tonight, although it is simple. It is simple. Oh, your first time watching since your operation. Oh, well, I hope it went well, Patricia. Glad to have you back. Hi, SJ, Brenda, Barry. Oh, it's Maureen. Mags. Oh, that's hilarious. Debbie, Kim. Christy will be along later. Yeah, I did see. I just saw a comment where she said she might have to watch on catch up. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that because I thought what a lovely colour combo the French beige and the clear skies is together. It's lovely, isn't it? And it was super easy to do. Right, so I've got all my stuff here ready to do the demo. And before I do, we're just going to talk a little bit about using inks on a 3D embossing folder. So 3D embossing folders are obviously slightly different. Most people will have already had a go with a regular embossing folder where you can run the ink pad over, or you can brayer the ink on because it's a flat, it's one layer, it's one depth. But with I'll show you on this one, with 3D embossing folders, you've got different heights on there, which makes it really tricky. For you to get the ink on properly. So what I would do, and I'm going to show you the results before I do mine. I'm just going to give you a little tip. Don't do what I did. So don't use your VersaFine Clairs on these because it'll stain them. I made that mistake last year. The VersaFine Clair will stain your embossing folders. If you're not fussed about them being stained, it won't affect the performance. But if you're not fussed about them being stained, go for it with your VersaFine Clairs because they're a really good ink to run through an embossing folder. They pick up all the detail. However, you know I don't want mine dirty, so I'm using Distress Oxides, which gives you a slightly softer finish and I guess a slightly textured finish because they are water based. And the way to combat that, or the way to get more coverage, is to spritz it with water, which I'll show you in a minute. The biggest tip I can give you is once you've used them Distress Oxides on your embossing folders, don't try and clean them with a baby wipe. Run them under the tap So run them under the tab, and I actually have got a nail brush. I think it's in here somewhere. I've got a nail brush that I keep for cleaning my crafty tools. So I just use the nail brush to get into all the grooves, because these are, you can probably see how deep these embossing folders are. If you've got this folder, you will know just how deep it is. That's a really good shot because it shows you the 3 different depths. So what that means when you're embossing this, oh, where is it? Where's my bits that I've just done? Oh no, that's my, oh, they're here. So what that means is when you run this through your embossing folder, you're going to get a look like this. So there's different ways you can do this. So, oh, let me just check. Oh, it's challenging, blah, 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 blah. 1 machine, 9 machines. Supposed to be eating healthy. Well, a little bit of what you fancy does you good. Phil, when you have a minute, would you tell me how I can take part in the monthly challenge, please? Are you in the group, Petra? If you're in the group, hi, Sharita. If you're in the group, the instructions are in the saved comments. So in the featured tab at the top of the page, in our Facebook group, if you click on featured, it will show you all the different tabs that I've saved, and one of them is for the monthly challenges. Right, so I'm just going to show you. I'll show you on this because this is this was another craft room casualty. Craft room casualty. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I've got about 6 of these. If it was my only one, I'd be devastated. And this was actually, I did this weeks ago in the normal manual machine, put it in sideways and didn't notice. And I was winding it through and I thought, oh, this is a bit tight. But I just forced it. I just forced it. That'll teach me a lesson. So I rammed it through and that was the result. Anyway, so tips with a 3D embossing folder. So unlike a regular embossing folder, like here, the hearts, I don't know if you can see them, the hearts and the dots are at 3 different heights, which means you can't get the ink on everywhere. You just can't. With the best will in the world, you just can't. So if you put the ink on the smooth side, and this is, I've used antique linen for this little demo. If you put the ink on the smooth side, this is what you get. And you need to be really heavy with the ink. So I put loads and loads of antique linen on, and then I've spritzed it a couple of times with water, okay? Spritz it a couple of times with water. Now if you go to the other side and then just run it through the machine. If you go to the other side where it's raised, because we've got 3 different heights of detail, you have to press quite hard with the, in fact I did it with tea dye, this one. You have to press quite hard with the ink to make sure it comes down. Now the difficulty with Distress Oxides is, yes, they are a felt pad, but can you see what happens when you drag it over your embossing folder? It pulls all the fibres away. You can clean it with alcohol wipes, but I wouldn't. I would run it under the tap, get rid of all the ink, and then just dry it off with a towel. Don't use kitchen roll either. Don't use kitchen roll to dry it off. That's what I was just doing, picking bits of kitchen roll out of the folder that's dried in. So the water is not going to harm these folders at all. Yeah. So rub it quite hard, and inevitably you're going to get some overlap. But when you do it the other way, this is what you get. So you can see, look, we've got the tea dye on the, you can actually see where the fibres from the ink pad. I don't actually mind it. So that's 2 different effects just from changing which side you put the ink on. And then you can be super clever. You can be really clever. So these are the 2 colours that I'm using for tonight's card, which are Antique Linen, is one of my all-time favourites. I love this colour. and tea dye, and these two together are lush. So I'm not going to do it all, but once you've done this, and we've got the white, so the white section is obviously from the positive side of the embossing folder, but then you can go in with your ink pad just lightly, just do it lightly, and then you can pick up some of the raised areas with your ink pad as well. So you've now got a two-tone effect coming from the same embossing folder. Do it and leave them white, do it and add some colour. You can do the same on the other side. I'll just get some kitchen roll. You can do the same on this side as well. I'll just try and do this roughly. I'm just trying to get a decent section done so I can show you. You can do this with a brayer, by the way. So you can do it on the reverse side as well, look. You just need to spend a bit more time than I've done there, where you've got a two-tone look. So that's one way of doing it, and that's with a relatively open embossing folder. So the beaded heart lattice has got lots of open space, which lends itself very well to both of these techniques. However, you all know that the ornate circles is my favourite embossing folder ever that we've done so far. But that's because I know what the new ones are. And the difference with this one is this is super quilted. If I just show you how this looks under normal circumstances, I'm trying not to let you see this. Well, I can't because it's already done. Ah, that's a shame. Oh, I can. Here you are. So the ornate circles is super quilted. Can you see those centre sections in between the circles where it's really quite raised? So what that means is it's really tricky then to get ink on the embossing folder. However, you can still do it. You just need to be very heavy. I'm not going to do it. Well, actually, I will. Oh, I'm doing the other side. You need to be very heavy with the ink. If you're going for this kind of look, where is it? Where is it? Where the ink is on the inside. So can you see that the ink is on the inside there? It actually looks really marvellous. Everybody needs to have a go at this. So the ink, this is just antique linen, and you can actually see where I was even heavier with the ink, because we've got like, if I come away a bit you might be able to see it better. There we go. We've actually got almost like a two-tone antique linen effect going on with this, and it looks amazing. And you can still do the two-tone thing, and this looks even better. I mean, you know I love an embossing folder. Look at these fibres coming off this ink pad. Drives me mad. And now look, now we've got this going on. So we've got a watercoloured background because I spritzed it heavily with water, with different shades and different tones of the antique linen on the recessed inside parts. And then we've got the tea dye sitting on the top. It looks awesome. And this is the difference between a regular embossing folder and a 3D embossing folder. You don't get enough definition really from a regular folder. So I'm just going to show you mine. So this is what I'm using for my card tonight, and I've got to be honest, I love it both ways. It looks fabulous both ways, but I wanted to try and keep some white space. So it's almost like when you do letterpressing, and we've got 100% you could, Jane. 100% you could, yeah. You just need to remember to flip your card the other way up. Otherwise, you'll get it on the wrong side, yeah? So Jane's just saying, could you ink it and run it through once and then ink it and run it through again? Yeah, you can. So we're going to do my back panel there for this, which is this piece. And I'm going to do this live. You won't see me at the machine because my machine's over on my counter over there. And I love this. I love it, love it, love it. Now, another top tip, if you're going for the raised side, so the raised side is generally the one with the printed cover. So the printed side, oh, no, I haven't. Thank you, Carol. The one with the printed is the raised side, which gives you the regular embossing effect. So it's pushing the design into the card, yeah? So I'm not going to add water to this. I'm going to show you a couple of tips. Let me just move all this lot, because I've got so much stuff on my desk, it's ridiculous. And if you saw the state of my other desk, you'd be ashamed of me. It's covered in new stuff that I've not even had a chance to test yet. Right. So this is like using the embossing folder as normal. So I'm just going to lightly go over with the antique linen. And rather than pressing really hard, I'm just going over and over and over till the colour builds up. Can you see that on screen? It's really tricky. Let me get some white paper. Might make it easier for you to see. Don't make any difference. Don't make any difference. So rather than, don't do none of this, just keep dragging it over until you've built up lots of colour on this folder. And I can actually see this building up. If you press hard on this, this is what will make the ink go into the bits that you don't want it. So remember, this is us inking the raised side, which is the side that's got the printing, that was glitter, on the embossing folder. So you don't need to worry about making sure your card is the right way up for this, because we're using it in the same way as just doing ordinary embossing. So my next tip, we're going to put the card on the clean part so we can line it up, face up. So I'm using the double stitched rectangles for this card tonight. I'll tell you why when we get to that stage. These are the double stitched ones, look. There you go, fabulous. So I'm lining this up before I bring the folder down, or as well as I can. I think that'll do nicely, and then just shut that. Oops, just took some of the ink off, so we might have a bold patch. Now I'm going to just run over to my Gemini. I won't swear at it, but I will show you the plates in a second. You'll hear it in a minute running through my machine. I'm not swearing, I promise. And I'm going to bring the whole thing over to show you. So, this is what I found works best for my 3D embossing folders in the Gemini. So I've got the base plate, I've got my folder, I've got the magnetic shim, and then I've got this plastic shim here. So the plastic shim, I'm lucky because I've got about 6 or 7 of these. So I will keep this one now. This is my bugbear with the Gemini, the state of the plates. So, but I will keep this one now just for my embossing folders. And then, are you ready for the reveal? Are you ready? Here we go. So that's what we've just created. How fabulous is that? I love this folder. If you haven't got the Ornate Circles embossing folder, you need it in your life. Look how gorgeous that is. It's stunning. I've got a little fibre from the ink pad there. Little snare. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? Oh, it takes it to a different level. Now, luckily, I've used a Distress Oxide, so it won't stain my embossing folder. And I'm just going to explain to you about cleaning again. If you're not so fussy like I am, don't worry about it. But I am super fussy, as you know. So when you do this with a wipe, look. So when you do this with a wipe, all I'm doing is dragging the ink into the recessed sections of this folder. So the water from the wipe is dragging the ink. You probably can't see it, but I can see that the ink is pooling in there. So it's definitely going to go under the tap when we're finished. Right, so that's that. Isn't it fab to do that? I mean, I've used to do this all the time. So I've now got a matching background and a matching foreground for the card for tonight. How fab is that? Poor Gemini. I don't like the Gemini. I bet you do, Rob. Oh, what does that mean? 2525. That's a bit weird. Jean's put, I use the base plate and the Raspberry Spellbinder plate with the Gemini. Yep. So I do, Jean, for normal embossing folders, but my Raspberry plate wasn't embossing the 3D ones very well. Yeah, that's the problem with the Gemini. That's the problem with the Gemini. Although Chrissy has assured me that the Gemini 2 plates are better. Oh, Janice, I store my Gemini plates underneath the machine and it helps to keep them flat. That's a good idea. I just keep buying new ones. Sounds like a sawmill. I've got to say, I am in favour of manual machines. And particularly for your larger dies. So when I was embossing, in fact it was this die that made my machine break, and this is just a regular rectangle die, and when I had to do it in the Gemini, if your plates are not perfectly flat and smooth, well then your card when it comes out is not perfectly flat and smooth, which is an absolute pain in the bum. So that's quite a few different techniques we've just looked at. So negative with the positive on the inside, because that's actually the reverse of the embossing folder in two-tone. Positive with the negative on top this time, and then inked through, and then watercoloured through. I wish you could see the colours of this better. Where's that white card? There we go. That's a better way to show you. Look, the colours stand out more. Hopefully you can see we've got different shades of the antique linen in the background of there. I absolutely love that. Well, so much so that I've saved it, and you know I don't save anything unless I really have to. So that will work with all 3D embossing folders. It doesn't matter what brand they are. Now you all know well enough that mine are probably the thickest on the market as far as 3D embossing folders go. Oh, why does my coffee never stay warm? I'll just turn the thing back on. Phil, will you remember to ask Pete to test the dies in the Sizzix? Oh, well, if you remind me. The Sizzix... Oh, Sandra, message me in the morning. Oh, your comment's just gone off. Sandra, message me in the morning. Yeah, in the morning to remind me, because we've got a Sizzix switch at the shop, so I can have a go for you. Right, so let's get on with this card. There's a fair bit to do. It's not gonna be a 2-hour jobby tonight because I've had a day, as you know. So this is a little treat. Oh, that is the chair creaking and not me. Just so you know. Now, when I was planning this demo earlier, I knew that I wanted my double-stitched ovals. I knew I wanted ovals on this card. So we've been so focused on the double pierced, I'm ashamed to say I forgot about the double stitched, and I knew I wanted the double stitched ovals rather than the pierced because it's a different shaped oval. And then I remembered about the double stitched rectangles. Now, if you haven't got these, I'm just going to show you, because the double stitched rectangles is a completely different shape to the double pierced rectangles, and I know why I did that. I did it so that the ovals, because this is a different shaped oval to the double pierced, so it's a nice fat oval and it's a nice fat rectangle. Now these are from 2023. If we've got any of these left, particularly the oval and the rectangle, snap them up, because you're not going to be able to get them soon, and they are different shapes. I love that we've got different shaped ovals. Anyway, so we're going to make a nice little fat rectangle top fold card. If I can make a rectangle square card, I'm in the wrong job. So as ever, score about 1/2 centimetre down on the back one. I keep saying this, and I'm going to say it. Don't be buying card blanks if you've got big A4 die sets, because you can make your own. You cannot buy anywhere. You cannot buy a card blank this shape anywhere. You can't, because it's just not a standard shape. And it will obviously go in an 8x8 envelope, even if it's a bit wide at the side, the envelope. But we're now making a card blank from 2 bits of die cutting, which is just marvellous. It's marvellous. It's why I love my big dies. Well, one of the reasons. So for anybody who's watching for the first time, I am going to keep going on and on about buying the big dies, particularly rectangles and ovals and circles, because you know I like a circular card. So if you are making yourself a card blank, score it half a centimetre down, put the glue on, do not fold it back yet. So there's my score line, look. Do not fold it back until the glue has dried. So put that on. Don't do anything else to that now. Just put it to one side and let the glue do its job. I've got too many things on this desk. Too many things on this desk. And then we're going to come to all my bits. Could you win one side and put it? Yeah, you could. The comments are coming up slower on my iPad than they are on the screen. Yeah. Oops. So Sandra said, remind me. Or message Karen, because Karen's... Oh, there you go. Jenny. Sizzix switch. My Sizzix switch is at the shop. I much prefer manual machines, I've got to be honest. The problem I find now with it, like when I'm testing new die releases, because as you know, I test every single die that comes from me. Every single die I test it myself. So by the time I've done a new release, I can tell with the manual machine that my shoulder's a little bit sore. They are huge, Jan. Right, so let's get this card moving. So as ever, I've cut myself a smaller piece to go in between my card base and underneath this embossed piece here. So this is going to be mainly a white card. The colour is coming from the embossing folder, and we are obviously going to do some magic with the flowers. And I've got something else that I need you to get as well in a minute, but wait till we get to it. So remember, the embossing folders are quite deep, so my tip would be to be heavy with the glue, or heavier than you would be normally, and then pop it on your next layer. Pop it on your next layer. Is this the right piece? It looks too big. Hang on, I'm just going to trim this down a bit. I think I've used my piece of card for something else. And I've got the wrong size piece of card here, so let me just trim a bit off the bottom of that. Told you, if it can go wrong, it's going wrong today. That'll do. Oh my word. What a day. What a day. So once you've popped your embossed piece onto there, if you're doing it with glue, just pop a die over the top and just let the weight from the die keep that nice and flat for you. And we are going to pop this oval on with some 3D foam tape. Yeah, I can't find a square rectangle card. You can make your own. I've also lost my little red Tim Holtz scissors. I don't know where they are. I must have left them at the studio the time before, but I don't know where they are. I'm going to have to buy some more. And believe it or not, I only had one pair of those, so I've lost my little lovely red scissors, my non-stick scissors, and I don't know whether you can even get them anymore. So let's pop this on. Watching on your mobile as you're house sitting for your son, oh bless you. You've been binge watching on YouTube, oh. Oh bless you. Right, so we're going to pop the oval on. So we're separating with plain white pieces. So although I've called this a white on white card, it's white on white-ish, because we are having colour from the antique linen and the tea dye, distress oxides. Now we could have done this with paint, so if you just treated yourself to the chalk paints, you can use the paints on the embossing folders because they are water-based paints. However, the results you get will vary depending on how evenly you can apply the paint to the embossing folder. But if you love the textured look and you don't mind a bit of imperfection, you can absolutely do that. This is why I love oval dies, because I cannot cut an oval to save my life. So let's just see if I can get this straight. Look how gorgeous this looks just with the white background. Oh, that's so pretty. So pretty. I'm just going to put the foam tape on the back and then we'll move on to the flowers. And yes, I am tearing this because the little scissors that I've found are not non-stick, so it will drive me mad. I could have done my I should have done that really, shouldn't I? Let me just do it. I keep showing you all these tips and then I don't use them myself. It's one of them, do as I say not as I do scenarios. Let's see if that's enough. The other advantage as well, let me just give you another little idea. The other advantage of doing this with Distress Oxides is, after you've done your embossing, and I do this on one of those spare bits, after you've done your embossing, you can spritz it with water heavily and let the water run into the channels of the embossing folder, and as the water's running into the channels of the embossing folder, it will also drag some of the colour in with it as well, so it will give you another textured look. Right, that can go to one side. We're now going to bring in our flowers. So let's find a bit of kitchen roll. This is obviously from when I did paints last week, but it will do nicely. Hi to everybody who's just jumping on. Right, so flowers. Now then. We're going to do them all in one go. And this is going to be a fastest finger first scenario. So if Karen's watching, which I know she is, Karen, get the link ready for the doorbells. So, I think that's them all. It is, because we're going to do those a different colour. Right, get a drink, Mr. Martin. And let's get cracking on these flowers. Right. Finally, these are back in stock. And I don't know how long they'll be back in stock for, but if you've not got these, you need to go and grab them whilst we've got some. We've not had any for ages. There's been no stock anywhere of these. So if you like making your flowers pretty, inky, with inky bits on, these are going to save you. These are going to save you so much. Oh, I can't show you yet, so, because it was my mum's birthday card, and I have got a photo of it. I wonder if I can show you on my phone. Oh, I can't because it's got new things on it. It's got new things on it, so I can't show you, which is just cruel, I know. So, antique linen and tea dye, they're the colours we are using tonight. So I've started to label these as I use them. This is actually my second tray. Wherever my first one is, I can't find it, so I'm on my second tray. So I've got a little label machine that connects to my phone, so I can just type all my lovely little labels, and I've just labelled them all up. And what I thought was, rather than go through and redo colours that I know I've got in my other tray, I'm just doing this as I'm using the colours, look, yeah? Everybody needs... Oh, Chrissy, how did you get on, Chuck? If you've not got these, everybody, you need them. You need them. No if, buts or maybes. There's I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So there's 40 in each tray. So antique linen, tea dye. And I'm trying to keep my colours in rows, look. So that'll be my pinks, that'll be my greens, that'll be my browns, etc. This is the easiest way to do this. We are going to use both colours again. So we are going to use antique linen and we are going to use tea dye. So antique linen first. Oh, Chrissy, I think she did. Chrissy, I think she did. So that means they might be in my trolley. I think the stamens are on the show, on the website, Petra. Stamens 3, I think. Right, so antique linen is quite a pale, almost like straw colour. So this is just the easiest way to do this. It's so easy compared to doing it with a smoothie. So I am running through 3/4, as always, 3/4 down my petal. I always leave the tips white. It's just a personal preference. If you want your flowers coloured all the way to the edges, you do that, you do you. But I like the tips of mine white. So all I'm doing is I'm just circling in the middle, and then I'm just dragging it to the 3/4 down each petal. This makes it so easy. And I don't know whether you can see, I'm going to show you this flower. It naturally, just by doing this, it's naturally giving us a darker centre. Can you see it? You can only just see it. You'll see it more when I go on with the second colour. But it's so easy. And these little sponges hardly use any ink at all. Everybody needs these. Everybody. In fact, I'm going to tell you the truth. When Karen told me they were in stock, I told her to get loads. I said, order loads. Because when the new floral finery comes, everybody, you're going to be glad I encouraged you to get these. That's all I'm saying. So I'm just going through with the antique linen. So we already know that the centre of these flowers, the majority of the colour on these flowers is going to coordinate with the recessed sections from the embossing folder on that background, the 2 backgrounds that I've just done. This is so easy. Even if you can't get them on your finger, look. If you can't get them on your finger, you can just hold them like this. So you can still use them even if they don't fit on your finger. Or if you don't like things. If you don't like to poke your finger in things. If you don't like poking your finger in, you can do it without. Now this is where it gets even better. So all of you that have been with me for a long time, you will know that I love my smoothie sponges. I've done this with paintbrushes. I've done this with cut and dry foam. This is by far the easiest way to do it. And you all know that I love a blended centre for my flowers. So what I tend to do is on the bigger ones, I go a little bit further down because you only actually see the ends. And look how easy it is for the small flowers, look. Oh, that's just too easy. It's so much easier than trying to do it with a bit of cut and dry foam. And I'm just going to do one more job just before I move on to the next colour. I want these. I should have 4 of these twiddly bits. 4 twiddly bits. There we are. And I'm going to colour them quite heavily. So I'm dabbing this on rather than rolling it because it's a delicate dye. So it's a good job. It's a good job I'm not rough with my twiddly bits. You cannot do this wrong with these. If anything, if you're heavy-handed, these will help you because you can't really get too much ink on. And the whole point of Distress Oxides, or any ink pad really, is that you can layer up the colours, build up the layers of colour. And because it's such a small sponge area, it's really easy. They've been out of stock for months and months and months and months. You can see I'm not going right to the end because it's going to be tucked under the flowers. Makes your ink pads go further as well, I reckon. So that's, pop that to one side. We're going to come back to the flowers, all of them. I mean, look how gorgeous that is before I even do anything else to it. How fab is that? And now we're going to come in with tea dye, and then all the stamens are also going to be tea dye. There's quite a lot of stamens because I'm doubling them up. We're going to make a double stamen. Right. So first things first. Remember, this is the stronger colour. So tea dye is the stronger colour. So I'm just going bang in the centre. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. I am super easy to please when it comes to things that make my flowers look even prettier. I'm all for it. Oh, look how fab they blend. We've not quite finished yet though. Need even less on the small flowers. I can't see what you're saying to me at the minute, but I will look, as always, in a bit. So you can, I don't know if I'm dobbing this. So rather than circling, I'm dobbing, and you'll see why in a minute. Now this has cheered me up, making pretty things, and I know my coffee's gone stone cold. I had about 4 sips from it. I've done that. Aren't these two colours together gorgeous? Now I was going to do faded jeans and antique linen together, just as a little tip. Faded jeans and antique linen together are a lovely combo. So antique linen is more of a cream colour than scattered straw. So scattered straw is another one of my faves, but it is definitely yellower than antique linen. Antique linen, I guess, is the closest thing to cream that we will get in an ink pad. Right, so now the centres, I'm just going to let that dry just for a second. You can probably see them. And I'm just going to do the stamens. I'll just get a bit more on this one. Oh, that's it. Job done. Lovely jubbly. Choking. Can you just message me? I'll look at that later. So these are the stamens, and I am going to ink them the whole thing. Now I'm not trying to get this a solid block of colour, so I am just daubing. And it will give us a little bit of texture as well when we put the flowers together. Where can you get a label machine? I got this from Amazon. Yeah, look, see if that helps you. Embossed label printer. I can't tell you what model it is. Hang on, does it tell me here? Look, let me put that closer. Can you read that? It's a Embossed label printer, Embossed D101. D101. I use it for all my labels. I can't show you because my phone's using for the camera, but you can change the font and everything. I just keep it the same. Right, here we go. We are getting somewhere. Oh, what does that mean? Battery. It says my battery's... Just bear with me a sec, everybody. It was telling me that the battery was going in my phone above for my camera, but how can it be when it's permanently plugged in? Anyway, I've done it. Let's see if that comes. I need to keep an eye on that again. Right, so just dub. Nearly done. Well, that's a barefaced lie. We're not nearly done at all, but if it makes you feel any better, I'll just say I'm nearly done. Tea dye, one of the most underrated colours from the whole range of Distress Oxides, but it's absolutely stunning. It's like an apricot colour. It's gorgeous. And just while we've got that there, I'm going to ink my shadows for my sentiment. Now these are from the framed sentiments, and again I'm just going to say it, and I know I say it a lot, if you're watching for the first time you may not have seen the framed sentiments, so Karen, do me a link please, because the framed sentiments are just about all gone. Well, some of them have gone, they won't be restocked again. And Someone Special, this one, is one that I use a lot because it covers just about everybody. And I'm loving the little bit of texture that we get from these sponges, look. Put your put your wallet on it. I'm sure the comments are coming on my iPad slower than they are on screen. My wallet's empty, Chuck. I've just had to buy a new cutting machine. Right, so now we've got that done. We've got that done. The stamens are done. We're going to come back to the flowers now, and we're just going to softly blend those two colours together. Now I've got to be honest, they look fabulous as they all look, because these sponges make it so easy. You cannot not get these. I'm insisting, if you can go for them, get them. But I am just going to blend a little bit. I'm going to blend out a little bit, so where the lines join I'm just going to daub. And I'll bring this in and just show you, because oh, it looks so good. It looks so good. Let me just bring some paper in again. So this top petal, the top petal is the one that I've just blended out. Where's my light? Does that make it worse, the light, or better? So the top petal is the one that I've just blended out with the, going back in with the antique linen. Can you see the difference? How soft that gradient is. It's stunning. And it's all in the details. So I am just going to quickly just go over the edges. I won't spend ages on it. It makes a huge difference. And it will make even more of a difference to the finished card as well, to the finished flowers. Remember, if you get into a situation like this, where the line is quite harsh, but the flower is small. Is it this one? You remember, we're trying to keep the tips of the flower white. So just put your finger over the tip of the flower and come in from the other side. And that will still work. So all we're doing is blending the line. It's all in the details. And these little sponges are amazing. Now, I can't tell you what I was just going to say in my brain, but Karen knows what I'm thinking. What I've done it. It's so good and it's really satisfying. And I hope we've got antique linen and tea dye in stock, because you're going to love it. I know I'm spending time on these flowers, but you know what? They deserve it. Stunning. I'm easily pleased. So you'll notice I've left the leaves there white. There are two different types of foliage. You know that I like more than one type of foliage. I can't remember what either of them are called. But I'm sure if you have a look, you'll find them. That's just my brain. My brain has absolutely had it today. In fact, I messaged Karen and I said, I don't know that I can say what I actually said, but you can imagine. These give you so much control. It's amazing. Amazing. And the difference between going back in and leaving it is also quite remarkable. I'll pause for breath in a minute and get a drink of cold coffee. Last one. I'm coming from the outside, remember, so I can cover the tips of the flower up. My fingernails might be a bit antique by the time we've done, but it washes off. Right, so now we've done that, we're going to bring the sponge in, the foam mat. In fact, let me go a drink. Oh, you've got one, Sue, bless you. I should have recommended you. I had to go a discount. No, I don't think I would actually. Just Sue, let me just warn you. Order some spare labels as well, because you'll find the labels run out really quickly. Hi, Saz. Ugh, yuck. Right, foam mat. Foam mat. So if anybody's watching for the first time or you're new to me, this is normal. Do not adjust your sets. This is normal. So we're going to score these again, and I am going to use a bigger tool this time. Smaller tool, sorry. Let me just find it. Where's my toolbox? If you were my toolbox, where would you be? I know it's in here because I was using it. Oh. How bizarre. I swear there's somebody living in my craft room moving my things around. Oh, it's here. It's here. So I'm going to do my scoring from the back thing again. Can you see? Yeah, you can. So I'm literally just scoring down the centre of the petal. I'm just doing it by hand. I don't care whether it's straight or not. It's just to give us that line. I'll do it on all the bigger ones. I won't do it on all the small ones. I need a fresh coffee if anybody's offering. Just as a little tip, if you're going to have a go at this and you find you struggle with the card, if you just dip your ball tool into the perfect medium or the Versamark tub, it glides a bit smoother. I'm just going to crack on. So on the small ones it's really tricky, but I'll try. I'll try not to pull any petals off. Can't promise. So you've probably seen me do this before, adding the line detail to the back of the flowers. But we're going to highlight that even more. In a moment. With the antique linen pad again, which is why I've just folded those petals over. It's just details again, details. And it doesn't take as long as you think. I'm doing this quite quickly so that you don't get too bored watching me. But the overall effect is stunning, so it's worth, if you're making this for somebody special, which, let's face it, most of us do, it's worth spending that little bit of time doing this. I can't tell you what these flowers are called because I can't remember. I can tell you they're from Floral Finery, the Floral Finery range. Not the last one, the one before, I think, so there's probably none left. And I'm only using them because they were already on my desk. In fact, I've just found, look, one of the flowers that I thought I'd lost. So that's a bit of a bonus. So let's just shape them up, shape. So I am pinching them, not stealing, pinching together. Last two, and then we're going to get the antique linen. Oh, last three, and then we're going to get the antique linen pad again. Now, if I was doing this in a hurry, I would probably just drag the ink pad over the top. But I am going to do this with the sponge. That poor little flower nearly lost a petal, but we managed to save it. Last one. You can see I'm holding the centre of the flower as I do this, and that's just so that I don't, because I am pressing really hard, that's just so that I don't pull the petal off, or I minimise the risk of pulling the petal off. I think I'm going to do it in tea dye actually. I think I'm going to do it in tea dye, just because you'll see it more. Bigger picture on YouTube and clearer. It's probably true, Jean. Well, I won't be doing that, SJ. I'm just reading the comments. Helen's put the kettle on. Thanks, Chuck. Right. So I'm now going to highlight these raised areas. I'm just going to see if this is the right colour to do it with. Oh, it is. It's lovely. I'll speed this up. Details. All will become clear, I promise. You'll notice it more, I think, on the bigger flowers. That's not as good. I was just looking to see if that would save a bit of time, but it doesn't look as good. So if you're doing a job, do it properly. I should know better than that. You can't cheat without losing some of the detail. The card will be easy to put together once I've done this, and this is why on my little description for the card for the live I said white on white-ish, but when this is all put together, I do love white on white, but I also love to have a little bit of colour. Just a little bit of colour goes a long way on a white card. Oh, that is so good. Wait till you see these flowers made up. Right, I'll whiz through this. You can see on some of these flowers I've been quite rough, which I know will surprise you. So if it's torn into the, if you press too hard and it's torn the cardstock, it really won't matter with the inking on. Now these little sponges again make this job very, very easy. And remember, it's not meant to be a perfect line down the middle. That's why I said don't worry when you're scoring from reverse. It doesn't matter if it goes off centre, a little bit wavy, it doesn't matter. This will be tricky. The small ones are the hardest. Try not to be too rough. So we've still got that lovely antique linen colour showing, but it's now under 2 layers of tea dye, and it looks awesome. I've cut 2 spare flowers as well, just in case I pulled the petals off. I know myself too well. Oh, that is, look. Stunning. Last 2, and then I'm going to put the flowers together. And then once the flowers are together, we can assemble the rest of the card and then put the whole thing together. Oops. And it doesn't matter what your colour palette is, this kind of card will work for any colour palette. Just remember to do two nice colours together. Don't do like, I don't know, purple and, I don't know, because purple and green's quite nice together. And that, I was going to say purple and green, but they are quite nice together. Just get a bit more on that one. Right, my fingers look colourful. Oops. Right, let's get these flowers put together. So, stamens are being doubled up, and I'm doing 2 sizes on each one. So I know that there will be 6 flowers. So I know I need 6 stamens. So I'm just going to skew-iffy these so that they line up like so. So we've gone from that to that, and we will do that for the others as well. The only ones that are different are the 2 small flowers. I'm missing a stamen. How can I be missing a stamen? Two. Oh, sugar. Sugar, sugar, sugar. I'm sorry everybody, I need to go and cut another stamen, because that will bug me to death if one's missing a stamen. Just bear with. Bear with. I need my plates from the machine back. Get to use a Gemini for one little stamen. It is. I could have sworn I'd cut it off, so that means I've lost one. That's why it bugs me all the way through for one little stain. And I never remember the reverse, stop and reverse thing. I can't not have one. It would have annoyed me. I'll leave that one till last so that it can dry a little bit. Right, let's try again. So just doubling them up. Obviously the smallest one is going to be two small ones doubled up. Because there isn't a smaller one to go under the smallest one. So this is two of the same size together. And same with this one. And then I'm just going to push them in. So I'm not shaping them any more than this. So we've got a double stamen, which looks really rather marvellous. Now if I had more time, I would probably glitter the tips of these or ink the tips of them. So now to the flowers. So now I'm coming to the big flower. And remember, I've already folded them and nicked them. So what we've done now, oh, look at that. So I'm unfolding them or uncreasing them and shaping them the way I would normally do. And it looks awesome. I'm having a lovely time, so I've had one of those days, and this is making up for it. So my big flower is obviously going to be 3 layers. It always is. And then the largest stamen is going in the centre. Now, one of the difficulties when you're designing stamen dies is that where the patterns overlap in the centre, inevitably you end up with the circle shape. Why is that giving me subtitles when I've turned them off already? No, it's not showing me. So you just need to remember that if you're graduating your flowers like I've done here, and the centre of the smallest flower is probably going to be smaller than the centre of the stamen, so you need to push in with your tweezers or whatever tool you've got. Oh, that looks so gorgeous. Get back. Keep your hand still, Phil. How gorgeous is that? So I'll pop that to one side. Let's just get these flowers put together so we're not here till midnight. And you can see why I opted for the tea dye for the line. However, the antique linen would have worked just as well. So it just depends how much you want them to be seen, how much you want to see. Antique linen being the first colour that went on, so it would have brought those two colours together. And I think I'm going to just opt for a plain white shimmer pearl for the centre of these stamens with a bit of diamond dazzle. Get in the middle. Thank you. And you can still see the lovely piercing detail from these dies as well, which is really good. And if you really want to go to town, you can glitter down the lines that we've just added to these flowers. And I would probably do it with the the new super fine glitter bottles. Oops, what have I done to that? Sorry, I've just made you skew iffy. Just battered that flour, poor thing. That's what you get when you're not looking. Poor thing. Ooh, wrong side. How can that be? I'm a flower missing as well. I counted these, so how? I think I'm just going to do that one with the stamen. I'm one of this size missing. I cut an extra as well. Never mind. Never mind. That one's just going to have the stamen in it. That shows you the day I've had, doesn't it? When I can't even count my flowers. That's a bad day for Mr. Martin when I'm a flower short. So this one's just going to have the stamen, which will annoy me. But I'm not messing about now. It still looks fab. And then the last two. And then it's assembly time. Once I've put the pearls in. So we'll do the usual trick for the centre of the flowers with excess glue so we can get the glitter in. I'm just going to find the white shimmer pearls. Oh, porcelain white. Porcelain white. That'll do. Just because they're here. Yeah, I can't do anything about the adverts. I've looked, and I can switch them off from the main thing, but I can't switch them off for mid show, which is a pain. You just need to just skip them when they've finished. So excess glue. White pearl. And white, obviously, because the card is white. Push down. And then we'll get some diamond dazzle on these pearls. I've learnt to say oops instead of the words that I want to use. So every time I say oops, just know I'm thinking of a different word. And it's not oops. Oops. Right, here we go. We're not far off now. So let's just get the diamond dazzle in the centres. Which gives them just that little bit of bling. Ooh, that one would be better with a pearl in it. If I didn't laugh, I'd be crying. Oh, problem solved. Here we go. So nearly done. And just whilst I've got the glitter out, we will add some to one of the foliage dies, and I think we'll do it on the bigger leaves. I've got no idea what these are called anymore because they're from quite a while ago. So, are you listening, Jean? There's probably none of them left. But I've got no idea what to tell you to search for anyway. So I'm just shaping them back, and then as ever, we'll glitter the tips. And I did say tips. So just the tips of the foliage, and the reason I do that is because I've got that gorgeous debossing detail in there. So while we don't want to cover it all up with glitter, can you see, look? There we go. So just the tips. Mondays seem to be difficult. Difficult for what? I've just seen a comment on. There we go. Last two or last three, and then put it all together. So the little whimsy foliage there, I'm leaving that plain white. I will just shape it, but I am leaving it plain white. And for me personally, I find that I like, when I put a card together, I like that we've got some bits of glitter, some without, and I think it just adds to the overall look. And the finish of our project. So this, I'm leaving it plain white, but I am just going to shape it a little bit from the back. Just a little bit, not too much. This is a film art in comfort zone. I could do this every day, day in, day out. So let's just put the sentiment together. So we've got the someone special in the framed sentiments. I haven't used the frame, obviously. This is just a sentiment. And this will make it easier for me, won't it? Now, this little precision glue, look at that. Oh, that's so much better. It's even better than the brush. So someone special. We remember we inked the background in the tea dye, and I'm leaving the sentiment itself plain white. So gorgeous. How fab is that? Mistakes, errors, typos. Yeah, next week is something new. Prepare yourself, and if you are somebody who orders from Hobby Maker, which is absolutely fine by me. I'm going to tell you now, be quick. If you're ordering from Hobby Maker, be quick next Wednesday. Now, I did have something new for you tonight. Well, I've actually had it for weeks, but I just haven't had time to do it. So I think I'm going to try and find time to record a video later in the week to show you this new thing, because it doesn't make for a very exciting live. That's a bit of a pain when you've got glue on your finger. Someone special. I love these sentiments. I should have done a set just like this, shouldn't I? I think it was Em that said ages ago that I should have done that, but I didn't. Not yet anyway. Right, so bringing the oval back, bringing our card blank back. So bringing the oval back, bringing the panel back. The card blank is now good to be folded back. So we've now created our lovely little fat rectangle card blank. Let's get this card put together. It's 20 to 9. I thought I'd be quicker tonight, but no, not me. So I am tearing this just to be quicker. So this is where you see all these little faffy bits that I like to do all coming together. And remember, when I did the embossing folder technique, I chose this way because this way gives me more white and just a hint of the antique linen, so that the overall look of this card will be very, I want to say balanced, but let's see if it is when I've finished. It's a typical Phill Martin card. I'm going to put a bit of glue on there just in case. I don't normally recommend glue on your base layer, but just in case I make a mistake. So let's get that on. Oh, that's just so lovely. And then before we move on from that, we shall do our usual trick. Have I already told you what it is next week? Which cardstock? I use my cardstock. So Jan is asking me which cardstock I use for the card blanks, and it's the ice white. It's the ice white. It's on the website, I do believe. So I use ice white for the card blanks. In fact, I use it for most things. The only time I use our premium pure white is when I'm making a posh card. This cardstock, the ice white, I go through boxes and boxes and boxes of it. If you think how many sheets of A4 I use for a card. So just a little bit of diamond dazzle around the edge. This is why I like to do the extra piece for underneath the embossed, just so that I can add glitter to the extra piece rather than the actual top layer. The oval is going on next. I did have my half of the, can you remember a few weeks ago when I did that card? Oh, I've lost it, so I can't show you anyway. And we had the beautifully beaded border on it, and I had two options to show you where we got one cut in half and one complete. I was going to have the cut in half one on here, but I don't know where I've put that either. I think I might need something stronger than a coffee for tonight. I don't drink, so it'll just have to be a... Well, actually, I say I don't drink. I don't drink when I'm at home. I do have a drink on holiday, but not when I'm at home. So this is, the oval's getting the same treatment as the background. Now that's just pure luck that it lines up nicely. That was not intentional, but it lines up really rather marvellously. Right, so here we go. Assembly of the... Oh, it's here. So I was going to have the border... well, it's too late now. Underneath. Get a drink. Oh, I just never had time, Helen. Honestly, do you know, since I went to Hobby Maker, and I do every other Wednesday on TV, well, the Wednesday in between the TV shows, I'm at the shop doing the workshop. So all my weeks now seem to be revolving around the Wednesday, and I have to do all my other stuff in between that. I mean, I've just worked, surprise, surprise, I've just worked all weekend again. Surprise, surprise, but I think you'll be glad I did when you see them. That's very naughty, isn't it? But I think you'll be very glad when you see them. It won't be till later in the year. This is a September or October thing that I finished yesterday. So more Diamond Dazzle. Remember, there's no Diamond Dazzle really on the embellishments for this card, apart from the centre of the flowers. So this is us giving double bling at the back. You should never lose your mojo. If ever you lose your mojo, just get in the Facebook group and look at everything that everybody posts. I love to see what everybody makes in the Facebook group. I don't always have time to comment on everything, but I love to see. I always click the love or the like. I generally sit and have a look at the Facebook group in the morning, like early morning or late at night. Sorry, which is the only time really that I get to myself. I'm just going to cough. It has just about gone, this cough, but there's just a lingering bit. Just lingering on. Right, so as ever, first time viewers, too much of a tease, I know it is. Don't get any time, hardly any, Helen, hardly any. Too much of a tease. What was that? I used the scallop board to cutting out. Oh, good. Oh, bless you. Well, Sandra, you should know better. Right, so here we go. Let's get this card put together. So, always starting with the big one. And that's tickled me just a little bit too much. But you know what I mean. I meant the big flower. Right, just so you know what's in my head when I was putting all this together. We've done this fabulous background, so there was no reason really to cover it all up too much. But we're now going to break it up with the flowers, look. So I'm coming in a little bit further than I would do normally. I am just pinching the tips of these a little bit before I stick them on. I've rounded them, but pinched the tips as well. Because, well, why not? It's all detail. Oh dear. Right, here we go. So flowers first. Foliage after. Flowers first, foliage after. It's just how it's done. I would prefer to have left these to dry a little bit longer, but they should be okay. So I am just nipping the edges of the petals, but I'm not doing it too much, just a little bit. Well, that's actually worked out quite nicely. So it has. Because I can tuck them over and under them. Over and under. Over and under. Right. Leaves. And this is why we left them white. So now we start to bring in the white sections for this card, which are obviously the foliage. So the foliage is going in next. And there should be 3 of those, which means I've put one somewhere else. So we'll bring this going out of the card. This one going out of the card. So going out of the card. And the same for these. I'll do the same as we're going. This is why we always have lots of different options in the foliage dies. It's no good just giving you a 2-petal or a 3-petal or 3-leaf version. And we've got this one for the centre. Oh, it's here. And that one for the centre. So just off centre with this. Oh, I've got a little bit of glue there. That's going to have to have Diamond Dazzle on it. And the same at the bottom, but on the opposite side. Look at that, it's just testing me, look. I spotted it because that glue gel was going to fall off. Let me just tell you what I'm doing. Because I put that leaf at the bottom, I'm just making sure it's in far enough so that it doesn't catch the bottom of the... That's it. So it doesn't catch the bottom of the card too much once it's stood up. Marvellous. Because I've made that mistake before, where I've made a card with lots of flowers and things on it, and then when I've stood it up, the bottom flower kept kicking out. So these are going inside the card. So 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2. And We are nearly done. What time is it's 10 to 9. So it's obviously taken me longer than I thought it was going to do. But then we have done the whole thing from scratch. Oh, I can't believe I've just got glue gel on that. There's going to be some swear words in a minute. Let's try and cover that up as best we can. Well, you'd never know. You'd never know. So these are going face in. I'm just going to put that there for a second and do the... Oh, actually, we'll do the top with it. I'll tell you why I left that in a minute. So that's for the bottom there, that's for the bottom there, and that's for here. Because the sentiment is going in that bottom corner. So I'm just going to pop the sentiment on before I put that last little fern in. So now you'll see why I chose tea dye for this sentiment. So I'm going to put the word special on first because it's the lower word. Oh, it's the one at the bottom. So special. I love that you can put glue gel on these as well. I'm just going to put a little bit extra on the end. Just to make it a bit higher. Make sure that's straight. Get that to the edge of the embossed piece. There we go. Nearly done. We are very nearly done. Special. Oh, it's got a bit of glitter on, but I can't take it off whilst the glue gel is still dry. Someone special. Now I can put this in, so now I can see where I'm going with it. So I'll snip the extra bits off. We'll just have a little bit poking out from there. Do as you're told. Thank you very much. Marvellous. And we are nearly done. I keep saying that. I promise you we are nearly done. I've just got to put the twiddly bits in now. And one last one of these. And then it's just the twiddly bits. So we've got one going in the way, one going in the way that way. Oh, I love the twiddly bits. I love them when they do as they're told. That's better, thank you. Just 3 more bits to put in, and then you can all go and get get a coffee. Just shaping that a bit. Just at the top, and then we are done. So I tend to make sure that my foliage things are all either facing in or facing out, but I like them to match with each other. So whatever I've done on the bottom corner, I replicate on the top corner. So facing in it is, look. And then actually, do you know what? I don't think it needs any extra pearls. I think that's probably enough. We are done. I'm just going to glitter. Just going to glitter where I can see that glue gel, because it annoys me if it's not pretty. So there's just 2 or 3 little areas where I've caught the glue gel, and I'd rather it looked blingy so it doesn't look like a load of glue. And we are done. We are done. So let me just check that the sentiment is straight, because if it isn't, oh, it is, spot on. And there we go. So let's have a little close up. Remember, put your sponges away. Go and get them if we've got any left. Oh, why is that there? Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're not done. Come back. You know I like symmetry. Not cemeteries, symmetry. That's it, just finishes it off. Stand still. And let's have a little close up. So here we go. So we've used the embossing folder technique with the anti-linen distress oxide pad for the embossing folder in the background. So in the background with the rectangle dies, and in the foreground with the oval dies. The flowers, I can't remember which flower they are. They're definitely from Floral Finery 3, because they're the only ones I've got left. Well, if there's any left. The same with the leaves. I've got no idea what they were called, but you'll find them. The Someone Special is from the framed sentiments. So the flowers were inked with the same 2 colours, the anti-linen and the tea dye. Anti-linen and tea dye. I'm just fighting with this flower because it should be that's better. As is the background done in antique linen as well. We could have done the background with the embossing folder in 2 colours, but I think it looks quite nice to just highlight the lightest colour. And there we go. So card blank made from the A4 double stitched rectangle dies, remember. So we've gone double stitched because it's a different shape to the double pierced. So all of the double stitched shapes work really well together. So we've got the double stitched oval and the double stitched rectangles on there. And there we go. So I hope you enjoyed that and learned something new, or learn how to use your 3D embossing folders with the Distress Oxide ink pads. So that's it. I will love you and leave you. It's bang on 9 o'clock, so how about that for timing? So next Monday will be sneaky peek of the new release. Can't wait to show you that. And it's the last series as well of the Beautifully beaded, so it'll be the last time I do any beaded dies. That's it. We'll be done with them. So I'm going to go and get a lovely new coffee, fresh coffee, and I will see you all on Monday. Excuse me, everybody. Remember, if you haven't yet joined our Facebook group, you will find it there. So search on Facebook for Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours and ask to join the group. You do need to remember to answer the 3 little security questions, otherwise it won't let you in. As ever, if you haven't yet, please do like and follow our Sentimentally Yours Facebook page, and also the shop Facebook page, Instagram, just rolling them all off now, TikTok, and last but not least, if you haven't yet, please do subscribe to the channel, the YouTube channel, Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours. You'll find it just by searching for that. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will catch you all on Monday with the new release, sneak peek and pre-order. Thanks, everybody.